What is going on, guys? In today's video, I will show you the best strategic sword and nameless sword build in Where Winds Meet. This setup exploded early after launch. The real charm of this hybrid build is the movement. You aren't trading hits or playing defensively in the traditional sense. Your defense comes from constant motion, quick steps, sudden angle shifts, and evasive repositioning. With the nameless sword delivering fast pressure from the front, and the strategic sword adding unexpected dashes and retreat slashes, you end up with two styles in one that feels smooth, unpredictable, and extremely rewarding once you get the rhythm down. It does take practice, especially with stamina management, but when the flow clicks, these two weapons snap together. So, this hybrid is built on motion, timing, and the ability to constantly reshape the space between you and your enemy. Most builds in the game either commit to pressure or play more reactive, but this one mixes both. The nameless sword gives you clean, straight-line aggression, fast slashes, reliable combos, and that iconic charged wave that forces movement even at mid-range. And then, by contrast, the strategic sword introduces fluidity and unpredictability into the fight. Every movement with it carries intention, so surging forward to slip under projectiles, fading backward to bait attacks, or cutting sideways to break lock-on tracking. When these two weapons are used in rotation, fights stop feeling like exchanges of blows, and instead feel like constant repositioning. The beauty of this combination is the way the rhythm naturally emerges. You press forward with nameless sword until your target is pressured enough that they must react, and then you swap into strategic sword to distort their expectations. When they are misaligned or off balance, you return to the nameless sword to strike with clean, focused damage. This build is aggressive without being reckless, evasive without being passive, and consistently rewarding once your timing becomes instinctive. So let's take a look at the weapons. The nameless sword acts as the backbone of this hybrid. It scales evenly with strength and dexterity, which means you don't need to lock yourself into one stat path to make it effective. Its light attacks are tight and quick, and they're forgiving even when your timing isn't perfect. The charged heavy wave remains one of the most versatile openers in the game, letting you start engagements on your terms, control spacing, or punish targets trying to heal or reposition. And then, the strategic sword complements this by adding a layer of finesse. It scales with dexterity and vitality, and unlike the nameless sword, it doesn't win fights through raw damage. It wins through control. Many of its attacks are embedded with subtle forward or backward movement, letting you dance around enemies who expect you to stay still. As far as upgrading goes, the nameless sword benefits immediately from early refinement because its damage increases affect nearly every phase of your rotation. Once it's in a good spot, shifting your attention to the strategic sword deepens the mobility and utility side of the build. Since neither sword demands extreme stat investment early on, the entire progression feels smooth and new player friendly. Next up, we got martial arts. With the nameless sword, our martial arts focus should be on sharpening our execution. Reduced charge time allows your wave opener to come out quickly enough to consistently start fights on your terms. Increased critical chances after dodges encourage a playstyle where you weave light evasive moves inside your combos without breaking the flow. The combo transition enhancements let you chain more of your moves without awkward delays, giving the weapon a polished and fluid feel. The standout, though, is the aerial dash slash. This single skill elevates the entire hybrid by allowing you to rise above ground-based threats, start your approach from the air, or simply reset spacing in a stylish and effective way. And then the strategic sword's martial arts, meanwhile, enhance your battlefield presence. Many nodes improve your stamina recovery mid-movement, which is crucial since this build burns stamina rapidly if mismanaged. The forward dash skills become safer and faster, letting you break distance in ways that surprise even experienced players. The backward slash becomes a true defensive tool, giving you breathing room while still dealing meaningful pressure. Higher tier upgrades introduce debuffs, subtle bleeds, or strikes that automatically reposition you on the target's flank or behind them entirely. Then, gear selection for this hybrid is all about maintaining balance rather than chasing a single stat. Because you rely so heavily on rapid strike sequences and controlled repositioning, accuracy becomes important, as missed hits waste stamina and break your rhythm. Elemental damage is another strong focus, because both swords share aligned properties that scale effectively from your gear bonuses, allowing every part of your rotation to benefit equally. Since your playstyle involves a lot of risk and close range engagement, so having a solid pool of maximum HP prevents you from getting deleted whenever your timing slips. Late game sets should start prioritizing secondary attributes like critical rate, damage reduction, and stamina efficiency. Stamina efficiency in particular is huge for this build. The ability to squeeze one extra dash, one extra step, or one extra follow-up attack before running out of stamina can be a huge game changer. Next, we got Mystic Arts. First, we want to get Wind Surge, which is the perfect opener for this build, because it boosts your movement speed and critical rate right from the start, letting you establish dominance in spacing and acceleration. With Wind Surge active, your strategic sword's repositioning becomes sharper, and your nameless sword's close quarters bursts become more reliable. Then, Ride the Dragon fits this hybrid almost too well. It's a sudden charge followed by a reverse stab, ideal for punishing enemies who overcommit or attempt to disengage. Chinese players popularized this art in combination with the strategic sword because it aligns perfectly with the unexpected direction shift, so you disappear from the front and reappear somewhere your target didn't expect. And finally, a sustained focused art like Spirit Flow rounds out the hybrid's lack of innate survivability. You won't rely on this healing constantly, but having a controlled way to recover health during drawn-out fights ensures that you don't get one shot. Next up, we have Talents, which personalize this hybrid by enhancing the areas you interact with most. Boosting critical potential increases the damage of your nameless sword finishers. Increasing stamina capacity and recovery plays directly into your movement-heavy rotation. And then, unlocking additional mythic skill slots lets you incorporate flexibility in Mystic Arts without sacrificing your mobility or damage output. Also, we want to invest a bit in boss talents, as they contribute to defensive stacking, making you less vulnerable to staggers or heavy hits during repositioning. Even PvP talents that you may not actively use grant valuable passive stats like control resistance and faster recovery from disables, since the strategic sword's style involves constant movement around enemy attacks, so having natural resistance to crowd control improves your consistency. Then, internal skills are where everything locks together. The Sword Wave Amplifier internal significantly boosts your nameless sword's charged attack, allowing you to send out multiple energy slashes during your opener or burst window. This internal alone increases both your pressure and your damage ceiling. Then, Momentum Step is a dream for this hybrid because it strengthens stamina efficiency and movement speed specifically during weapon swaps. Since alternating between the two swords is the core of the playstyle, this internal makes transitions smoother and more instinctive. Then third, we got Precision Edge, that enhances your critical damage and reduces enemy defenses during sword strikes by boosting the final hits of your rotation where the nameless sword deals the most damage. And lastly, Dual Harmony boosts both damage and stamina regeneration simultaneously, giving you sustained momentum even in longer encounters. And now, finally, let's see how to actually play this build. The rotation begins with the Nameless Sword. We start with a charged wave to force your target to move or block. Then immediately close the distance with a dash. Then go into your rapid strike sequence, which pushes them into defense. As the final hit connects, slip backward with a dodge to reset your spacing, and encourage the enemy to chase. As they step in, switch to the strategic sword. Use a forward dash or angle cut to reposition yourself onto their flank or slightly behind them. From here, use your debuff slash or your reverse attack to disrupt their footing. This moment is when targets tend to panic because they lose track of your exact location. Once they're off balance, swap back to the Nameless Sword to deliver your finishing damage. Use the rapid combos, your crit boosted slashes, or another charged wave if they attempt to disengage. Overall, this entire rotation resets every few seconds by creating a fast, fluid rhythm of approach, misdirection, and very high DPS.